So last time you saw the interior of this truck, Steve and I were driving this thing around town after we got it running. But it's time to make some improvements. The rest of this truck is in pretty good shape. However, this interior has aged like a fine milk. So we got to take care of the seat. We have a carpet, new dash pad. This one's got just a slight crack right there. It might be hard to see. Very subtle, but we want to make sure that we remedy that. No headliner in this truck. Actually, the paint on the inside is pretty good, but we gotta do some replacement foam on the seat, or maybe just patch what's there. New cover. We have brand new door panels. And I actually replaced the ribbon for the gauge cluster the other day. And we have a couple of new replacement bulbs for it as well. So hopefully that'll help spruce this thing up a little bit. But with that being said, let's yank the seat out of this truck and get started. This thing weighs nothing. Yeah. A little bit of a better view now that we have it outside of the truck. These are also really light. I don't know if you guys have ever taken a square body bench seat out before. I was expecting it to weigh a lot more, but it was actually pretty light, easy to get out of the truck, so that's a good thing. But yeah, so cover is hammered. The foam has seen better days. Some like mold and mildew on the back of this thing. So we're gonna cut all of this off. We have a brand new seat cover. Steve just ran inside to grab that. Should help make the interior of this thing look just a little bit better. So while Steve is ignoring all child labor laws, we're just taking the plastic end caps off of this, and then we'll cut the hog rings off and we can actually get this cover out of here.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I pay him fair wages.
He's 16. All right, so bottom half of the seat is apart. We did find a pig mat shoved in there to kind of hold this foam up on this side. And then we're actually missing 3 springs. So we found one on the bottom of the seat, but one is definitely broken. So we're gonna see if we can find a replacement one for these. We got Bill the Butcher here cutting a new piece of foam to mend our seat. Well, Steve is reupholstering the seat. His dog is reupholstering my pants leg.
Dog's doing what she's trained to do.
What, be a seamstress? Steve's custom foam job. Looks really good. No more divot in there. And one half done. This is going to make this thing look a lot better. Just to give you a better idea of what we were doing, so Steve basically just extended that one rod under the seat. So now we'll be able to get the 2 missing springs on here and hopefully get tension on all of this before we put the foam and the cover back on. All right, there you have it. Back together. 2 replacement springs. That rod's holding on for now. So to some of you that may look like creme brulee, but it's actually our seat cushion. Right, Steve?
Guys, take a little bit of pride in your work. If it doesn't look like this when you're done, redo it and make it look like this.
So I guess we're going to find out how that looks with the cover on it. And the finished product. It's a little dark, but huge improvement over what we had. We both sat in it. It's really comfortable. Now we just have to make the rest of the interior look like this. We might have something. So we finally got some daylight to work on this thing, and I'll show you what we did so far. I think you guys already saw the seat, but we got the front half of the carpet in. This portion is glued down in the front. Still have to work on underneath the seat and up the back. So this truck actually has this kind of cool box behind the bench seat, but I would like to tuck the carpet underneath that. So we're going to remove that box. We're going to take these speakers out on either side, and we'll start running our carpet back up to the end of the cab. We did break that seatbelt bolt off in the floor, so we're going to have to come up with something for that before we actually lay the carpet down on there. But for now, I'll work on ripping this out, get the speakers out of the way, and maybe we can make a final cut on this carpet so we have the length, because it is a little bit longer than we anticipated. Already looks a lot better in this truck. Bench seat in here, so starting to come together. This thing should look really good when we're done. So I'll set this up, we'll yank this box out of here, and start getting some fitment on the carpet. So 1 seatbelt bolt, 2, 3, and then 4. Looks like I have some drilling to do, because the other 3, well, Steve snapped one off the first day, and then we agreed that we weren't going to take the others out, but he's not here, so I tried to take the others out, and I broke them. So I'll see if maybe I can drill these out before he gets home. Wish me luck. All right, this carpet is laid down. We did glue it, so it's nice and secure in there. And you can see we have just some random drill bits, some picks and screwdrivers. We located all the holes for the seat and the seat belts. So we're gonna go ahead, we'll cut around the holes there, and then we can start laying this stuff in. We're gonna put the box in a minute as well, just to kind of anchor that down. The wrinkles here should even out a little bit once we cut around those holes, but looking pretty good. So to make the holes in our carpet, no, I'm not branding myself. We're gonna heat this punch up, and then we'll pull the screwdrivers out where we have them through the carpet into the floor, and this should make a nice clean hole. You wanna try and avoid drilling carpet. It tends to grab the fabric, and then it will make a mess, and chances are you'll unravel the entire thing. Not speaking from experience or anything, just an observation. Okay, drill that out. And you can see I made a nice hole in there. Get to the threads, no problem. So I'll do that for the rest of these, and then I think we could throw seat belts and that cargo box in. All right, so we got our box installed. Time to grab the seat.
Actually, hold on. Why would you go through there?
Because I'm going to grab the seat. All right, do it yourself.
I hate you!
We got to tilt this. There you go. Hold on. All right, so next up on the list to fix is going to be the dash pad. So we have one of those covers that kind of just goes over and will encase what's left of this one. I think to make it easier on ourselves, we're actually going to remove this from the truck. So we'll pull this out, clean it off, and then we can lay the adhesive on and hopefully just slide that new cap on there. And that should help to clean this thing up a little bit more. The interior is a little messy right now, but it looks so much better with a fresh carpet, seat cover. So like I said, dash pad's going to be next. And then I think we're going to try and get some door panels on this thing today as well. All right, dash pad's out. I think while we have it out, we're probably going to replace these speakers. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that those probably don't work anymore. And we'll just vacuum up, clean everything up in here, and just to give you a better idea of how wasted this dash pad is. I don't think there's a square inch of this thing that doesn't have a crack, but that layover that we got should really clean this thing up. All right, so we don't have this glued on yet, but you can see it's just a little better than the last one. Again, I really didn't think the old one needed to be replaced. This guy did.
I like
the
money.
Perfectionist over here.
Honestly, we're just made of money around here, so
yeah.
I figure we're just spend some of it.
So we got that laid on. The fitment is pretty good. I think we're going to clean off what's underneath, and then we'll apply some adhesive, let that dry a little bit, and then this could go back in the truck. So it's just a couple clamps holding that in place. We'll let that glue dry for a little while, and then we could put the vent cover back in here, the two up top, and then this should be ready to slide back in the truck. All right, so while that dash pad is drying, next thing we're going to tackle are these door panels. So I'm going to start by taking the window crank off, and looks like there's really only a couple screws holding this thing on, and then probably a few of those Christmas tree pieces that always happen to snap off when you try to remove them. So let's see if we can get this off. It sounds like a raccoon caught in a sea container. It's because Steve's on the other side of this truck. I'm not really sure what he's doing. He claims that he's trying to lubricate the door mechanism, but I think he's just trying to interrupt us.
If you're not impressed, I don't know what you're getting impressed by.
So if you're wondering why the armrest is now shaped like a boomerang, it's because the screws that were in there were completely rusted solid to the metal that was on here. So I tried to talk nicely to it, and it didn't agree. But do not negotiate with terrorists. So we got that out. We grabbed some new hardware for that. And now this door panel is pretty much ready to come off. Helpful hint, guys, if you're yanking on it, and it seems to be attached in one other place, it probably is. There's a screw behind the door latch. Almost lost my cool there. Oh, that was much easier. All right, so I'm going to grab our new panel, make sure that it comes with the new Christmas tree clips, and then we can start.
It doesn't.
I've just been informed that it does not, in fact, come with Christmas tree clips. Super duper. I broke all of them, actually, as a matter of fact. Thanks for asking. That's good news. Perfect. I mean, really, why would they give you the new clips? Not like you're going to need them. You know, who's going to take a door panel off like an absolute gorilla? Not me. Not this guy.
They're also not 38-year-old clips either. So
yeah.
That's fine.
So, don't need the clips. Fantastic. All right, I'm going to do what I should have done from the get-go. We're going to use this tool to pop those clips out. But looking at the new door panel, it looks like a field modification was done at some point, and that there is no provision for any of those clips on the new panels. So who am I to argue with the manufacturer? We'll just put it back on with the screws we took out. Got all the hardware back in. It did come with new inserts for the door handle, but even with that pressed all the way in, that handle will not fully return so that you can latch the door. So I'm going to pull that back out, and we're going to introduce it to our friend the file, and we'll make it fit. All right, new door panel is done. So clearance this little pocket for the handle. All right, got the door pull, I should say, attached. Window regulators back on, door locks back on, window rolls up. Big improvement. And I didn't realize we must have bought the deluxe door panels, because this one has this nice carpeting in here. And the old one was just plastic. Looking pretty good. It'll look even better once this interior is all cleaned out and that new dash pad is in. But it's really coming along. A few more steps to help button up this interior. One of them is this plastic sill plate that we're going to install now. And then the last piece, you might be able to see what Steve is doing over there.
It's a fight. It's like Vietnam over here.
Yep, that's why I'm leaving it to last.
Go in.
But we got carpeted sections for the kick panels as well. See, my side is just still bare steel. But I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to do what I think is the easier task first. And now that I said that, this is going to fight me every step of the way.
Certainly hope so.
Me too, honestly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a marker, and I'm just going to mark the holes on the carpet. Then we're going to do the same thing that we did to locate the holes for the seat. Just melt a little bit of that material out of the way. This truck had no interior when we got it, so I don't even know if there are holes drilled in here or not. But after we melt some of the carpet out of the way, if I have to, I can just sink a drill bit through. And we got some new hardware for this as well. All right, door sill is in, finished up, secured nice to the floor. So I think the last thing I have to do on this side is put that carpeted piece on the kick panel like Steve did on the other side. And then I think after that's done, we can probably put our dash back in. So real quick, got that kick panel piece behind this panel. That's glued in, meets up nice with the carpet. Looking pretty good. So I think we're just about ready on this side. So it's a couple days later. We got some new speakers for the front of this truck. So I'm going to go ahead and pop those in now. And then I think we can move on to the dashboard after that. Gauge cluster. And it's not here yet, but we actually ordered a retrosound stereo for this truck. So don't have to cut any holes in the dash. It looks like the factory unit. But you can hook up your phone to it and play music right from there. So that should be a nice upgrade for this thing as well. This thing's coming along. It actually almost kind of smells like a new truck in here, which is weird because it is clearly not. But looking forward to getting all this stuff back in where it belongs, get it cleaned out, and get a final look at this completed interior. But let's throw the speakers in. All right, new speakers are in and wired up. Hopefully I didn't wire them backwards. But I guess time will tell. So we're going to grab the dash and try and slide that in here. All right, so a couple days later, as promised, we have our retrosound stereo. Already started setting this up. Next thing I'm going to be working on is adjusting the depth of these two studs. So that's where your knobs go. But give you a quick look of what this will look like. And also, yes, I think I am getting sick. So what better way to rest and take it easy than to install a stereo in this truck when it's 20 degrees outside. So that is basically what it's going to look like once it is installed. Should look pretty good, but I'm going to continue messing with the depth on these. This will be trial and error a couple times just to make sure that it sits in there nice and flush. And then I took a look at the factory wiring harness, so I know where our power, ground, and all the speaker runouts are. So we'll work on getting this set up in the dash, and then start running some speaker wire. All right, so next day we needed a little bit of daylight.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we got stereo installations.
Sort of doesn't matter. If you have cat eyes like we do, you just work in the dark. It's fine.
Yeah, Yukon Cornelius always wires his stereos up at night.
Merry Christmas.
So Steve is going to wire up the head unit. All right, we trimmed off the factory harness. So for this preliminary connection, you have keyed 12 volt, constant hot, ground, and then this gray wire is for the factory stereo for the dimmer switch, so that's not going to be needed. And then the only other two connections are for speakers, which you saw us put the new speakers in the dash. We still have the factory speakers behind the bench seat. So we'll work on getting this wired up to the truck itself, and then we'll take care of the speakers from there. All right, so while Steve is working on the wiring, I have to open up the factory radio bezel just a little bit. The retrosound stereo is a little tight going in there, so we'll open that up a little bit. We'll do the final alignment for our controls on the side, and then we should be able to install the stereo, hopefully wire up the speakers, and we'll go from there. Well, interior is finally done on the 85 K10. New carpet, seat has been recovered, dash pad, new door panels. Got our retro sound stereo in there. Sounds really good. Gotta grab the clip for this window regulator. I forgot to get that, so we'll take care of that before this thing is finally done. But as far as this video goes, I think we can cross the interior off the list on this truck. This is a lot of work, but if you guys remember what it looked like when we first started, the night and day difference. Looks really good in here. The stereo sounds awesome, except we didn't have to cut a giant hole in our dash. It looks like a factory unit, connects to Bluetooth, no problem. Super happy with the way this one came out. So guys, that is going to do it for this one. Thank you for checking this video out. This truck has come a long way. Looks really good inside now. Sounds good. A few finishing touches. Give it another wash, and this one should be good to go. So catch you guys soon. Thanks again.